to the fence, and that's gone.
There it is. Ace to win the set. It's caught. 20-10. Touchdown.
This is going to be in the gap.
Oh, shot! Yes! Goal! Go to the deflection. Yes! The Huskies win their first state championship.
From the Anoka Ice Arena, where tonight QCTV and QCTV.org are pleased to bring you some early season North Suburban Conference hockey action between the very good Maple Grove Crimson and the Anoka Tornadoes, playing their first game of the season after being snowed out on Tuesday. Hello, everybody. I'm Tim Anderson, along with my good pal Ryan, Nelson, Kane, and Rhino. Maple Grove was one game away from the state title last year, losing in a heartbreaker in overtime to Andover. They're primed and ready to come back again.
Yeah, this is a team that is going to be challenging for a state title again this year. I've talked to a number of people around the state tonight who believe that this is the best team in the state. They're bringing back almost a complete complement of teams. We're going to see them start with their third line tonight, a little bit undersized, but a good speedy line. It's going to be key is seeing can Anoka play a good disciplined game, stay out of the box. We're going to see if Maple Grove can score early, and that's going to be the goal for each of these teams here, is play a good, clean game and see if they can score.
Anoka ready to go with their first-year coach for Ted Machulis, a very popular guy within Anoka High School, longtime JV coach here, being the new head man on the bench boss, if you will. Tornadoes win the draw. They'll get it started here in the first period, and they'll bring it across inside the Maple Grove zone, ring it around to the backboard, where it's going to be picked up quickly by Grant Leno on the defensive side, third-line defense right there. And now the Crimson are going to try to send it ahead once again, and they will. Almost out of the zone, but not quite. Anoka doing a nice job being feisty early on. We'll talk more about that as we go through this game. Just underway.
And that was a goal that Coach Machulis said that they wanted to be agitators tonight. They want to be agitators all season. Not really feeling that they have the 100% of the skill to compete all the time with these kinds of high-end teams like Maple Grove. But if they can get to the dirty areas, make sure that they can play a little physically and stay out of the box, they're going to have a chance in these games.
Trying to center one up that time is Maple Grove, not able to quite do it. Ingram stays it in. Now it'll be kept in the zone as well by Beck Picanato. Shot on goal, gloved out of the air that time by the goaltender Colin Rosano, sophomore goalie for the Anoka Tornadoes. There you get a look at him, number 30. On the other side, Jack Roach, who's a senior, is the goaltender for the Maple Grove Crimson. Face off just outside the stick side of Rosano. Draw one by the Crimson. Trying to thread the needle inside. That one sneaks away. And now they're going to look to clear it as Trevor Lang for Anoka. Back towards center ice.
Clean passing is one of the things that you'll see a lot from Maple Grove here is, can they keep that puck on their stick and control the puck in the offensive zone? We saw them do that all through the JV game before this game started. We'll see if maybe that can translate to the varsity game here, but Anoka doing a good job of playing disruptor in their defensive zone so far.
Back up to the point. Nope, we get a whistle first as the net comes loose, as that time they were trying to set things up on the outside for Connor Stelgis. Stelgis waited at the blue line for it. They'll reset the net, just underway. 15:37 left to go, opening period. No score here at Anoka Ice Arena. Face off now to the glove side of Rosano.
Top line out there again for Maple Grove for the first time tonight.
So good chance to take a look at guys like Finn Brink. Keep your eye on him tonight, number 27.
Committed to the University of Wisconsin, Mr. Brink is.
That one's going to get sent out and cleared to the other end. We'll get an icing. Touch-up icing this time, which will get a change for both sides.
And a good look so far as getting pressure from Maple Grove. We'll see if they can continue that. Again, Anoka's doing a good job so far of trying to play physical and push them into the boards and try and keep them from the center in front of the net. But that's exactly where Maple Grove wants to be, is in that slot area in front of the net. So we're going to start to see them get some of those crisp passes in as they get warmed up into this game, and we'll see if Anoka can continue to play that disruptive style down low.
Parker Nedland was back there trying to defend for Anoka. Also trying to work it and get it out of the zone. Not able to clear it, though, are the Tornadoes. And they'll skate ahead. Chance for Danny Ness. Ness works with Barthel. Not able to quite clear it. Now back come the Crimson the other direction. Led this time by Luke Margineau, one of the captains. Trying to center in front. And they stopped it. Stayed in front was Rosano.
What a great save by Rosano, too. That one was Heck of a chance there for Maple Grove. That's exactly what you want out of your goaltender there, is to kind of clean up where your defense can't keep them out of that center there. We saw, like I said before, they're going to try and get to the middle of the ice there and take that shot. And that's exactly what happened there. So Maple Grove's going to keep trying that all night. Anoka does a good job there to limit that chance.
Very young fourth line, all sophomores on the front side for the Tornadoes as they come out this time, led by young Teddy Machulis and Alec Dalvang and Hunter Brunner on the ice for the Tornadoes. Ryan Barthel also sneaks out there as well. Barthel, a senior, playing maybe one line up right there. Barthel also working with Machulis, trying to send it ahead, can't do it. Now a shot from the point. Roseno's going to cover up. And a good thing, too, because right on top of him was coming Blake Steenerson, all 6'4", 200 pounds of him.
And when you're playing a team that's young like Anoka, they may not always, they'll get caught up in moments and stuff like that. So what you're going to want to do is just put the puck on net if you're Maple Grove at this point. If you can't get to the center of the ice, just throw the puck on net and hope for a chance there. That's sometimes what you got to do to spark your offense here.
Steenerson with the whiff that time as he tried to put something towards Ty Patefield. Patefield trying to keep it alive. That's going to try to get worked backwards, but instead it's going to go back into the neutral zone where the Tornadoes will give chase. Try to clear their way into the Maple Grove zone. Can't do it. Steenerson sends it back in, but Anoka will take it. Barthel working from the back line, sends it across neutral ice.
Just an inability to pass cleanly for Anoka so far. If they want to have a chance in this game, they're going to need to complete these passes through center ice. So far, we haven't seen that. Just need to play some cleaner hockey.
Tornadoes looking for a kind of a reset here behind their own zone. Danny Palmquist can't quite clear. Kept in, kept alive as Joey Imgren trying to set something in front, trying to get messy for Joey Leafblad in front of Colin Roseno, but not able to get a shot on goal, and we'll get a whistle and a change.
Second shift here for that third line for Maple Grove. They're going to stay out on the ice. They just changed.
Back in comes that top line. Maybe not quite for that Anoka team. Maybe close. Not quite. Almost. As it's Caden Sukup. It's that second line, it looks like, for the Tornadoes. Trevor Lang tried to work ahead. Sukup there as well, but it's taken away. Going the other direction with it. Here comes Leafblad. Shot in front. Now it's behind the net. Imgren gives chase. Still loose, and we'll get another whistle. See what we get this time. 13-11 gone by here in this 13 left to go here in this first period. No score.
Spending a majority of the time in the Anoka side of the ice so far, though.
Yes.
Looks like Maple Grove's continuing to apply pressure, just going to keep playing that fundamental style of hockey that they like to play. Good passes, good offense, hold your shape, take your shot. Haven't quite gotten to the spots exactly where they want to take those shots, but they're starting to put pucks on net, and if you're Anoka, you got to start playing that agitator style that they're looking for. Play physical and see if you can force them into positions they don't want to play in.
Trying to see if they can kind of get that Maple Grove team a little frustrated. Maple Grove down a few players tonight. Of course, they have a player playing football. They got a couple guys injured. Good shot in front. Roseno will make another save. So maybe not totally full strength here are the Crimson. They're 1-1 coming in, beating Edina and losing to Wayzata in the Turkey Trot to open the season. So they've played a couple games. Face off here. It's that top line. Kernan. Now Finn Brink tried to take a shot. That's up into the netting and out of play.
That was over the netting, Tim. That was way out of here. We'll
just keep throwing pucks out here, I guess, is what we'll just keep doing. Great setup here at the Anoka Ice Arena. Always fun to come watch a game, although it's, I got to be honest, my first time here.
Yeah, mine too. I know you and I have
been around the area a while, but have not been here.
That's right.
They didn't let us in before.
No,
now they do.
Stadium, and here we are.
Yeah, here we are. You doubted us, but now we're here, as we like to say. Back to the neutral zone. The Crimson going to go back and reset, and they do. They'll come back in the zone with Margino. Again, trying to get a shot into the net again.
You just see Anoka just kind of pushing that puck out of their zone there, but no real pressure applied in the middle ice here. You want to divide the ice into thirds here, and they're really not winning the battle in the middle of the ice. They're turning it over a lot. Maple Grove is making a lot of recoveries at center ice here, and if you're a team that's trying to keep up with somebody else, that it's not going to pan out for a full game if you can't make your passes in center ice.
Off the draw, Gavin Anderson on defense at the point. Trying to send it across, can't do it, but it'll be dumped back into the back of the zone for a chance for Parker Nedlund. If Nedlund can clear out, that one's shot but wide off the stick of Andrew Leafblad. Still jockeying for it. deep inside this Tornado zone. Loose puck down the middle. Can they turn it over? Nope, deflected that time defensively. Nice work that time for Anoka. So Anoka looks to try to clear it out of the zone. Can they do it? Not yet. Still alive for Andrew Leafblad at the point. Back again. It's Gavin Anderson going to skate his way in. The good chance in front, and they get one. Shot, score. Snuck it past Rosenau. And that one looks like number 22, Andrew Karkos, gets it from the fourth line. And it's 1-0 in favor of Maple Grove.
Yeah, and what you're going to see there is Karkos just comes across the face of the goalie unchallenged. Rosenau is going to do everything you can to stop that, but when you've got to cover both sides of the net with a guy coming across you, it's very difficult to stop, especially for a young goalie like him. So, again, just playing fundamentals. If you're Anoka, you can't let them have that center of the ice. You certainly can't let them down that low in front of your goalie.
Off the draw, Crimson dump it back in yet again. Barthel is there for the Tornadoes. Trying to send it ahead for Hunter Brunner. Brunner can't clear. And now Barthel looks again to send it. Looking for a little help there. Can get it from Alec Dalving. Dalving can't quite clear it out of the side of the neutral zone, and the Crimson will dump it back in yet again.
And an interesting note that you're seeing here is all of the Crimson players are flowing to the puck on that side of the ice, in the center ice. They don't respect the pass that Anoka could have out there and get into some odd man rushes on the other side. They just know that Anoka's not able to get that puck out at that point.
Oh, Bash. That deflection gets behind Rosenau, it looked like, unless they whistled it dead first. Nope, they gave that a goal. Boy, not a lot of celebration after these goals go through. But that one looks like it took like 3 ricochets. Let's see if we can take a look. Yeah,
right off the skate of number 8 there for Anoka.
Yeah, off the skate of Barthel and Jackson Provencha. Yeah, that's too bad.
Just a tough spot for that kid to be in. I mean, you got to be aware of where you're at on the ice, but that puck can come from anywhere. But still a tough spot for him, tough break. We'll see if Anoka can respond here.
Yeah, that's too bad right there. That's a tough goal to give up. Either way, they're going to give that a goal for, I want to say that was Grant Leno who's going to get that one. Grant Leno from back at the blue line. Off the deflection, will get credit for that.
Anytime you can give those defensemen a chance at a goal.
Big fire back on the other side, not able to get it off the post. I think they thought they were maybe going to get one there. Good effort.
Hayden Caesar's hanging his head a little bit.
Yeah.
He had him beat, just had to put that one right on the money and just missed it a little bit high and up. High and out, I should say.
Yeah, nice chance there to bounce back. Got to win these draws here if you're the Tornadoes. Try to put a little pressure in this Maple Grove zone, which they did at the beginning of the game. Just hadn't really been back down here since. Can they keep it in? Caesar does keep it in. Vokety gives chase. So does Weinrich. Not able to quite take care of it. And now here come the Crimson. Passing cross ice. Looking for something towards the net. That one's going to fire wide. And let's see if the Tornadoes can clear it out. Not yet. They ring it around the back end. Trying to send it ahead to the Tornadoes. And it looks like they'll clear it this time. And they will. Back to the neutral zone. But not going to be cleared out. Brought quickly back into the zone by Grant Leno. Leno with a nice centering pass. Everybody misses, and it goes over the top of the net. That thing looked close, and another chance that time, and Colin Rosenau will cover up.
Well, the posts are singing so far. That's one down at each end so far. That could have been a goal for either team. We're kind of looking for that next goal here a little bit. Anoka's got to respond, and Maple Grove can start to put some real pressure and go up 3-0 here in the first period if they put that one in. Just more pressure from Maple Grove, though. Anoka still can't clear it out of the neutral zone. They got that really good shot down at the other end, but really no sustained pressure for Anoka so far.
Looking for something as they send it ahead, and they will clear it into the Maple Grove zone. It's going to be given chase this time. And
got a penalty coming.
Penalty coming as Ficasello gave chase for the Tornadoes, not able to get it out of the zone, and now we're going back the other way for the Crimson. It's going to be a penalty on the Tornadoes before this is all said and done. That's why they yanked the goalie right here to try to get the extra attacker. Across into the Anoka zone, they've got numbers. Trying to bump off. Tornadoes do, and that will stop play. And we'll get a penalty and a power play coming up for the Maple Grove Crimson. One thing I think we could say, Ryan, about the turkey trot earlier this year, in the first 2 games played by the Crimson, no scoring on the power play.
Yeah, no power play goals yet for Maple Grove as we get number 15 Ben Fiacello in the box here for tripping. It'll be 2 minutes for him. He'll get to sit and think about what he did.
No question about it. He'll give that some thought, some reflection time. Maybe write a paper while you're in there. Send it down to the other end for Jack Roach now as we start the penalty kill. And again, first game now after losing that game Tuesday night, and I think that was a really big deal for the Tornadoes to get snowed out of that game against Southwest. So you're trying a lot of stuff for the first time.
Yeah, you've got a couple of games here for Maple Grove having the opportunity to go and work together a little bit in a live game scenario, and they know what they're running, they know what's working, they know kind of who's hot and who needs to heat up.
Good chance in front on the power play, and they're going to get it. Score!
Well, we talked about the first power play goal of the season for Maple Grove, and there it is.
There it is. Looked like it was number 18 Steenerson in front who got that one. You can't miss him. That is a tall drink of water for the Maple Grove Crimson. Take another look. You can see 18 right there in front.
North American Hockey League juniors member there for the Minot Minotauros, Blake Steenerson.
It was either that or they got it on a deflection, put back maybe by Kernan perhaps. I'm not sure. We'll have to see who they end up giving that to. But it's 3-0 in favor of Maple Grove. I thought it would be Steenerson, but there might have been a deflection there. Tornado's going to try to stay in this thing. Skating it hard the other direction. Trying to put some pressure on. Barthel was giving chase. But it was taken back the other direction for Maple Grove. Deep into the zone they go once again. They set another chance. That one was off their own stick. Trying to get another deflection in front. That's covered up.
Yeah, Anoka just getting kind of pulled out of position defensively here. We're seeing Maple Grove guys up the ice kind of in their defensive structure here, not really, respecting the defense of Anoka very much, just kind of doing whatever they want right now. So Anoka's got to get back to playing some disciplined hockey. I know the penalty kills you and you got to get guys off and change out here, but get back to playing that game you were playing early when you can get the puck out of your zone here.
Trying to clear, can't do it just yet. Machulis sends it down. Machulis going to chase. So they gave that goal to Kernan, that last one on the power play, on the deflection. So he did touch it. But Steenerson going to go try to get one for himself here as he's fresh back on the ice. Checked hard into the boards by Mason Beaver. Crimson stay with it, though, as they do such a great job of keeping possession. Lucas Bush.
This is again what we were kind of seeing early on when we came in here to watch the end of that JV game. Is Maple Grove just does such a good job of the fundamentals of passing the puck, making sure it sticks to you and you don't lose it. They stay on their skates. They don't really get out of position. They play a good fundamental game. And against a young team like Anoka, that's going to create a lot more opportunities than it loses. So Anoka's got to get back to that a little bit here and play kind of that grinder style that they want to play.
Coach Ted Machulis in his first game as the varsity headman, but he knows these guys pretty well. He's been the JV coach here for a long time at Anoka, so player familiarity was not a problem when he took over this offseason. Knew all these guys very well, knew the skill sets. I think it's a great hire for Anoka.
You can definitely see that, Anoka is a team that's going to be finding themselves a little bit, maybe trying to develop a bit of an identity as a program here. Maple Grove having the benefit of a couple of years of success with these guys on the ice already, that they're going to have that identity kind of already established. So, we've got a little bit of a young team in Anoka and a team in Maple Grove here that's a contender. And this is kind of what it looks like, is just kind of developing the skills for Anoka and developing that style that they want to play.
Part of it, too, I would think, Ryan, is trying to develop a kind of a lack of fear, I guess, for a team like Maple Grove. You get intimidated playing against these big kids who've had success, and you're a younger team, and you're a team that's kind of growing and getting better for the first time. And a matchup like this can be intimidating, especially to open the season. Well,
and you talk about getting snowed out of that game at Southwest.
A good chance again. That's Brink. Wow, Finn Brink with a mind-blowing speedy goal right there as he's zipped past the defense, and it's 4-0.
I'm sitting here talking about developing a program. He's scoring a goal. How about that?
Well, look at the speed here, Ryan. This was incredible. We've been kind of I was wondering when we would see him take off, but there he just hustled to that puck, and he was gone in a flash.
Well, and that's kind of what we talk about here with the difference in the programs here. Is that's what Maple Grove can do. Just nice and quick. They'll put it on you quick.
So it's 4-0 here in the first period. 6:34 to go, opening period. The Crimson, another chance in front. Saved that time by Colin Roseno. And he is he is under siege. And he doesn't have Steven Seagal on his side. Trying to get across the blue line, can't do it. Here come the Crimson once again as they reset. Looking for more chances, Jack Kernan.
What a line that was, Tim. I got to applaud you on that.
Well, I appreciate you. Stelgis brings it in. Still just trying to look for a centering pass, not able to hook up with Brink that time. But it's kept in by Jack Kiernan. Now Brink and Kernan work together on the back line. Also same with Luke Giuliani. Giuliani had a clean look in front, had to gather the puck again. It looked like he had his chance on the doorstep, and it didn't quite come off the stick. He had to regroup. Looked like he was aiming high there, and it just didn't quite get all of that shot there. You know, he kind of rushed it a little bit, felt the pressure coming from his right. You know, this is kind of what we talked about a little earlier, that this game can get out of hand if you don't get it out of your defensive zone, and we're kind of starting to see that come to fruition for Anoka here. They're just not getting the puck out. Yeah, it's a very worn-out sheet of ice on this side. You can still see it's kind of shiny on the other side. Yeah, got to have a nice clean sheet playing on the other end. Yeah, we may not even have to Zamboni that side. Who knows? No, I'm kidding. Come on now. Now a chance here again behind the net. Karkos, who's actually played, I think, really well so far. Called his name quite a bit. He's been involved a lot for this Maple Grove squad. And this is a team that does have, like, obviously all four lines can really go. And that's the difference, right, between the good, first lines can hang with each other, sort of, but when you start getting down the line, that's when things start to really separate themselves. For sure. Anytime your really talented kids can come off the ice and you can continue to be competitive with the kids who are still learning and might be your first liners next year or the year after. I mean, those are that's how you build a really good program, is when you can have four deep lines and then guys playing. Oh, good chance in front and a one-timer. Sorry to interrupt, but that was another pretty one right there from Preston Moses. Speaking of that, there's a junior. Tim, you never have to apologize to me for calling a shot there. I'll always stop talking for you. Oh, I appreciate that. Take a look at that one, Ryan. Boy, that's a good shot. Just came clean off the stick. Just not a whole lot you can do there if you're a goaltender. And this Maple Grove team just gets on you. Yeah, they have certainly kept the pressure on. First couple minutes, Anoka really I thought battled pretty hard those first 3-4 minutes there. But as you can see, as the goal started to kind of sneak past, now we start to see. This is where I think that the metal is going to get tested a little bit for this Anoka team as we start to watch. Like, okay, now what can we do here? All right, let's try to score a goal. Let's try to play a couple good 3-4 minutes. When we're talking about, obviously you and I, we coach something else, but when we're talking to kids, you're not in a good position. You just kind of throw things against the kitchen sink. Can you play a kitchen sink type game right now, down 5-0 in the first period, and just try to salvage something from this game? What can we learn from this game? And is there a way that we can kind of claw back into this thing, just playing physically, just playing hard, just take it to them a little bit? You might not win. You're behind the 8 ball here, but now you've got nothing to lose. Steenerson mixing it up nicely that time with Mason Beaver and pushing each other back and forth. Another chance right there in front. And they do such a nice job to the Crimson of just getting chances in front of the net. Beaver again gives chase for the Tornadoes as they try to clear out. Can't do it just yet. Trying to grab it out of the air that time was the Tornadoes. Machulis is back there as well, trying to get rid of it. Not able to send it away. Alec Dalving trying to clear it out as well for the Tornadoes, and it is still alive down in this Tornado zone. Back at the blue line, and that's going to get up into the netting. And we'll get another stoppage here. Yeah, every time they get a chance like that, you feel like it's a blink and miss it chance. They're just putting the puck just appears in front of the net, and it's being shot. There's no time to regather. There's no time to recoup or respond if you're Anoka at this point. It's all just seeing what's in front of you and making sure that you're in position. And right now, Anoka's just getting pulled out of position, just kind of chasing the puck around the zone right now. Something about spacing, right, Ryan? Like the way that Maple Grove seems to space their guys out, it just seems like nobody's out of position. It's not bunched. They've always got a guy behind the play who can sit there and recover. They've always got a guy who's kind of outside who can wait if that puck kind of bounces out. They're just playing very disciplined hockey. And if you look at Anoka here, I mean, you've got 3 guys kind of outside that net right there. Guys aren't really moving around. They're not looking for opportunity. They're not looking for work on the ice. And that's just a sign of a young team. That's going to get better as they get older and spend more time together. But Maple Grove, you can tell they've played a lot together. These are guys who have played together since they were kids, largely in the same system. They've played varsity together for a couple of years. We're just seeing experience. Well, we're seeing a lot of different things here, right? But size, too, big difference as well. Like a couple big, strong kids for this Maple Grove squad, too. Coach Todd Berglund feeling pretty good about what he's got, no question about it. Although you could tell that he was a little bit, I don't want to say concerned or agitated, and I wouldn't be calling any of that, but you could see like injuries, very concerned about the injuries early on. He had a couple of big injuries, and then obviously a player playing football still, which again, you can't always count on that your player's going to be playing a football game. A state championship game coming up on Saturday. Friday, that's right. So he'll have He'll have him back soon, but I mean, we're in December.
Yeah,
and normally you had your guys back by now.
Normally that's the case. They usually play that Thanksgiving weekend, but of course the Vikings played that weekend, so they can't use the stadiums. They got to wait a week. But I'm dealing with that a little bit too. They've got. I coach at Maple Grove, and I've got kids that want to go to the game, and we've got events this weekend, and they can't be there. So it affects everybody. You kind of take it when you can leave it when your team's playing for a state title, and
tell me about how difficult that is.
You hope you're watching your hockey team play for a state title when those kids get back. So.
There's a really good chance of that, no question. They were in that heartbreaker against Andover at the end last year. I think a lot of people watched that one.
Here we go again, just more good
Brink
passes.
and Kernan trying to run a little game that time, but instead just dumped in by Kernan. Back out to the point for Anderson. Sent in front of the net that time and covered up by the goaltender, Colin Rosen.
Maple Grove just playing such a just a loose game right now. They're just putting pucks on net. Looks like they're shooting in a warm-up right now, just doing the job, just making sure they can do what they can do to keep this game out of reach for Anoka, not let them back into it.
Be interested to see what the shots on goal numbers are official at the end of the period. If they will, we'll try to get the official number on that. Let you know. Big hit right there as the Tornadoes try to ramp up physicality right now, and I don't mind that at all. Good chance right there in front. Another cover-up.
Yeah, if you can take those shots from the blue line, that kind of high outside place where they're taking that shot, where the last couple of shots have come from, you'll take that if you're Anoka.
100%.
Those kind of low percentage shots. What you don't want is more skating around the net, passing in front of the net, shooting in front of the net. That's what you don't want in a 5-0 game. You don't want this to get any worse in the end of the first period.
2:10 to go, first period. Good crowd here tonight at the Anoka Ice Arena. Tornadoes in some slick new sweaters. Boy, do I like those.
Anytime you can bring out the original 6 looks.
Yeah, I like that. I'm waiting on my hoodie, Coach Machulis. Anyway, Brink on the brink, behind the net, skates back, sets up for Leafblad. Leafblad tries to keep it in but loses it. Big hit right there in front, knocking down one of the Tornadoes as they tried to get back out of the zone that time, not able to move ahead, and they lose the puck. Boy, that was tough. Big physical hit right there.
It looked like coming up the sideboards that time that Brink just fanned on that pass back to Leafblad. You don't see that very often from the captain there.
Trying to clear out. Tornadoes looking for something here in the final minute 20. And that's sent back into the zone. Trying to recover and reset is Danny Palmquist. Palmquist sends it ahead, back into the Maple Grove zone. It'll be just stopped and covered up in front by goaltender Jack Roach.
Haven't really seen Roach get challenged other than that one shot that went off the post by Caesar earlier in the period. Just not a whole lot of pressure being put on that Maple Grove side over here. We'll see if maybe that can change as this game goes.
Face-off won and immediately cleared out. Rosano will wait, get an icing call. So we'll go get a face-off once again down in the Crimson zone. Winter season underway here on QCTV. We've got a lot of games coming in the next couple of days. In fact, Andover is on QCTV, I believe, tomorrow against Moorhead. So we'll talk more about that, I think, as we get the schedules out to you. But
that should be a great game.
A lot of basketball coming soon.
Wrestling.
Wrestling. Oh, my goodness. It is going to be a winter of sports action, and it's going to be awesome.
Feels good to finally get back in the full swing of some high school sports, Tim.
Oh, man, it's awesome. What a great fall we had. A lot of good stuff. Hoping for that in the winter as well.
You and I always have fun calling these games. Always good to come out and see the kids play.
Teddy Machulis trying to get it across and does get it into the Maple Grove zone. Doesn't have any help that time to pass that off to. Tried to fight through the defender of Maple Grove, not able to do so. Sticking with it was Hunter Brunner as he tries to send it back in and does. Just enough time for the Tornadoes to get a change. Steenerson will come out and get it for the Crimson.
Just feels like every time Maple Grove makes a pass, it sticks on the other end of the pass, and every time Anoka tries to throw it down there, it just kind of bounces around a little bit.
Lucas Bush tried to move something in, and now at the end of the period, that's what it will be. No extra shots. 5-0, the Crimson getting it done. Finn Brink in on the action. Jack Kernan in on the action. Preston Moses in on the action. A lot of players getting it done. Yep, Karkos gets a goal. Lots of good stuff coming from this Maple Grove team in the opening period. believe we're going to go ahead and get the old Zamboni out, Ryan. So we'll talk about this period and preview the second period when we come back on QCTV.
You told me not to talk to strangers. You told me not to cross the street without looking both ways.
You told me not to touch the stove.
You told me not to do drugs.
You told me not to drink and drive.
You gave me so many messages about how to stay safe. Why did you keep me safe by properly storing your gun?
I love the must be tough seeing you two play at a state championship.
When you look at the number of disasters in the U.S., chances are every area will deal with some kind of emergency in the next decade. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
The city of Anoka is synonymous with its history, a history that brings pride to its citizens, and history that stands out when driving through the downtown area. Just on the corner of 2nd and East Main Street is a two-story building that today is seen as a vacant Anoka sports shack, but to the city it has always been known as the Phoenix Block.
It was built in 1885 after the fire of October of 1884. It took out most of the downtown area. Most of it was wooden buildings at the time. The story of the Phoenix is that it rose from the ashes. I guess they built the building on the foundation of the original building, which was built in 1857.
Dan and Julie Smith are the owners of the prominent building and are planning to restore it to how it looked 130 years ago.
The restoration will bring it back to the original look, and we will rent out the main floor and the downstairs. And the downstairs originally had windows at the sidewalk level that brought natural light into the area. The building was built before indoor plumbing. It was built before electricity and central heat. So there is evidence of soot as we take apart panels and walls from the either wood burning or coal burning stoves that were in here.
When we moved to the top floor of the building, the pieces of the past began to come together to give us a good idea of what the building looked like in 19th century Anoka.
This, we think, was a dance studio at one time because it's got a maple floor over top of the pine floor. The windows, as you can see here, this is a good example, they went up 13 feet, and that was to bring natural light in because, again, there was no electricity at the time. When this room first started, I think it was 1894, this was the first Anoka library. And all these walls, the trim, the doors, the closets, everything is the same as in that 1894 picture. We've removed it to restore it and to put it back in once we're done.
Of course, with a project like this, there is a unique set of challenges that the Smiths will face that are aligned with the same ones that the building has been facing for over a century.
The challenges, we've already hit a few. The center beam was inadequate for the building. It held it up for 130 years, but it's got a sag in it, so we'll have to replace that. And the supporting posts, they don't have any designated integrity, so the structural engineer wants new posts in there to meet today's standards. And the roof will be upgraded to meet today's snow load standards.
And so, lastly, what is it that drove you guys to take on this remodel? And is there anything you want to interject, Julie? Go right ahead.
Yeah. Tell us.
I like the building because it has, on this floor and the upper floor, 14-foot ceilings. Some of the older buildings had much lower ceilings, and Also the fact that it was here for the bulk of 130 plus years. So we just felt like after my retirement, this would be a great project to take on.
This remodel will be an incredible addition to the downtown area that will serve as a window into the past of what Anoka looked like back when it was first established well over a century ago. And as this remodel goes underway, we'll be sure to keep up with all the progress of the restoration of the Phoenix block.
Do you remember your first bike? Do you remember the excitement and freedom it gave you? Witnessing that joy or getting a from the heart thank you note from a recipient of one of our bikes is our reward. Bikes for Kids collects bikes donated to us from local bike shops, recycling centers, law enforcement, and individuals. We refurbish these bikes and give them away to kids and others in need who may not be able to afford one, along with a helmet and a bike lock. We do this through churches and other charitable organizations, and the recipients of our bikes also include homeless people and even refugees from the war in Ukraine and also Africa, where we ship them over once, sometimes even twice a year. In continuing our mission, not only do we need bikes to refurbish, but we also need volunteers. Along with your monetary donations to help with buying parts and other expenses. If you don't know how to fix a bike, that is no problem. We can train you. But you can also help out cleaning the bikes, pumping up tires, setting up orders, moving bikes, parting out unrepairable bikes, pickup and delivery. Bikes for Kids has been around for 10 years, and last year we gave away 3,600 bikes to kids who really appreciated it. Let's keep it going.
Listen, you're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk.
No matter what you're going through,
I just want you to know I'm here.
I've got your back. When you want to talk, I'm here.
Hey guys, it's me, Isabella Gomez, filling in for Smokey Bear because he's got more to say than just...
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Like, if you're outside enjoying a barbecue, don't let a hamburger distract you from fire safety. Make sure you aren't dumping your hot coals or ashes onto the ground because that could start a wildfire. So take wildfire prevention seriously and let's save the world one day at a time. Juntos con Smokey Bear, podemos hacerlo. Go to smokeybear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Do you remember our first group photo? This is it. Smiles all around, even though we were all nervous.
Who could have imagined that our first weekend together would soon turn into a lifetime of memories?
You're an amazing young man. Your brothers and sisters really look up to you. They're a big brother.
It's so cool to watch the adult that you've become, and you really have done as much for us as you think we've done for you.
You know, it took 20 years, and I got my third child who was 17 at the time.
There's so many rewards in life. You coming into our home was one of the greatest rewards we could have ever had.
I ain't never felt so much love before in my life.
The thing that drives me every day as a dad is him. Every day he's hungry for something. And there's this huge responsibility in making sure that he's a good person. I think the advice I would give is you don't need to know all the answers. It's okay to make mistakes. As long as it's coming from love, then it kind of starts to work itself out.
I think it's just vapor with flavor.
It won't hurt my kid like cigarettes, right?
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
My kid?
My kid knows it's dangerous.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Bring it. Time out, guys. I'm late to dinner. My mom's gonna kill me. Catch you guys later.
Mom wants us home. Okay. Bye, guys.
You guys need a ride?
Sure. Yeah. All right. How about some one-on-one? I gotta go eat, man. Sorry, I'll see you later.
When I never graduated from high school, I realized I wanted to go back to school because I didn't want to work these back-breaking jobs the rest of my life. With the help of my father and having my son, that was all the motivation that I needed to come back to school. I felt accomplished, made me feel that I could take on whatever challenges life throws at you.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Listen to that jam right there. Welcome back, everybody, on QCTV. Tim Anderson, Ryan Nelson Kane here with you. 5-0 the Crimson after the first period of play. And Rhino, this Maple Grove team looks about what we thought they would.
Yeah, they're living up to billing so far. You know, you heard the siren coming out as the period's getting ready to start here. Starting to wonder if that's a mortar warning for the for Colin Rosenau coming in. It's going to be a tough rest of the game for them. We'll see if they can do what they can do here.
Let's take a look at that first period summary as we get set for period number 2. We take a look back at how things got rolling. Tornadoes tried to come out and take the fight to them, but as you could see in the first period, once we got kind of going, once kind of everybody started to find their legs a little bit, Maple Grove found some momentum, and you could see it right from the jump. They were able to get some early stops, but then that quick little wraparound goal got things going.
Yeah, I mean, this has just been the game for Maple Grove so far, is just pressure. We played, had to have been close to 75% of the period in the Tornadoes defensive zone. Just like I said, Colin Rosenau just getting absolutely shelled back there. Defense has to step up and try and keep that pressure in the middle of the ice, keep things to the outside, keep things to the blue line, and they'll have a shot to try and get back in this game. But if they can't do that, it's going to be a long night. We're going to have a rough one for the Tornadoes here. First game of the season for Coach Ted Michulis and this Anoka Tornado squad, and obviously getting snowed out to Southwest was really, I really thought was a detriment. I think that was really tough for them because I think they would have loved to have a full 3 periods of real competitive action against somebody to get some bugs worked out, things like that. But here they are working them out against one of the best teams in the state of Minnesota here. So that's, I guess, you got to do it sometime. Yeah, you have to get on the ice and play. And I said this, but was interrupted by a goal in the first period. That Maple Grove has 2 games on them here, where they've had the opportunity to work some of those kinks out. And Anoka being on the ice for the first time together here in a real live game, that's a tough place to be for a young team, especially. Deflected there as Beck Picanato tried to send one at the goalkeeper. Colin Rosenau able to make the stop. Yeah, he's a sophomore goalie. He's getting a test here tonight, no question. They have come after him and challenged the defense, this group of Tornadoes. Off the draw, Maple Grove wins it again off that face-off as Giuliani tried to work itself around. Giuliani, Kernan, and Brink, that really good first line for the Crimson on the ice right now. Back at the blue line, that's deflected away, but Brink's going to try to stay with it for the Crimson. Can't quite get it out of the zone, though, can the Tornadoes. Still haven't cleared it out of the zone just yet, and now they do. And yet again, more turnovers in the neutral zone there for Anoka. Just some fundamental errors there in the neutral zone. Not able to hold the puck, not able to get it in. If you're having trouble getting it in, don't try and skate it every time. Just get over the red line and put it over the blue line and skate in behind it if you can't get there. But it's going to be a tough rest of the game if they can't make that happen. As you know, we're finally starting to see them skate around a little bit in that zone to our right here, as Maple Grove is having to respond a little bit early in this period. But we've spent most of our time in that Anoka zone.
Both sides skating. Brink centering pass for Kernan, and boy, was that pretty. Goal for Maple Grove. Brink to Kernan, and I'm sure that's been said a few times around here. And another big one. 6-0. And again, every time a goal gets scored, you feel like you're waiting to get in trouble for somebody. It's very quiet in this ice arena.
Yeah, just not a whole lot of reason to celebrate for Anoka so far. Like to see them maybe get 1 or 2 on the board here before the end of this one, but haven't really seen anything to indicate that we're close to that so far.
There's more noise in a library. They're going to kick some folks out of the face-off circle. That's how that goes. Try that again.
Yeah, the JV score we watched before this game was 8-0, and well, I don't know how to say this other than well, we're on pace.
We are on pace for sure. 15-13 to play second period. And we'll get another face-off down in the tornado zone. Hubner that time tries to win the draw for Anoka, can't quite do it. Sent back in around the net. Riley Bott was there for Maple Grove. Kept in by Leafblad. It's Andrew Leafblad, and that one will be covered up.
And again, you just see guys from Maple Grove free behind the play. There's always a place to pass the puck to. Anoka not doing a super great job of holding that sort of defensive area and giving themselves an opportunity to clear off.
Another line change. They get in Alec Dalvig, who takes that face-off shot on goal right off the draw that time. That one's off the pad of Rosenau. Not able to clear it out of the zone, though, as they stay with it. Andrew Leafblad sends it back behind the net. Once again, a good chance for Moses in front, trying to clean it up. Also right there was Karkas, and not able to clear it and put it back away. Ketty Machulis trying to send it out of the zone for the Tornadoes. Now back in the neutral zone it goes. It's sent back in by the Crimson. This is behind the net. Dangerous territory. Another chance for Karkus as he gets another look that time, but that's blocked. Can't quite clear it yet. Crimson rolling in. Another chance deflected right in front of the net that time. That was Ty Patefield trying to get the deflection on net, and it'll head all the way down where Roach will touch it up for icing.
I think we're going to have to dig young Mr. Rosenau a foxhole back there. He is getting absolutely shelled
well,
right
now. He'll definitely enjoy the. I'm sure he'll enjoy the spa afterward. Perhaps might need to.
He's getting a good stretch out there so far.
No question about it.
This is baptism by fire for a young goaltender. Boy, this Maple Grove team looks good, though, so far.
They can skate, no question. And they can certainly put pressure on you, and they are relentless. That's the one thing I think you'll notice. And that's, I think, something I'm sure Coach Machulis knew pretty well going in, right? I mean.
Well, you talked to him before the game, and you know, he had kind of indicated that they anticipated a really tough game for themselves tonight. They knew what they were getting into tonight with this Maple Grove squad, that it was going to be a hard-fought battle for them if they were able to stay in this. And so far, that's completely been the case. I mean, it's just been a really tough game for them. They're just not experience-wise, they're just not there yet. And it'll take some time, and Coach Machulis is clearly working on that. And they're going to have their opportunities this season. It's just not tonight.
Well,
it's just been a really hard one.
And the one thing he realized, like him and I have had a chance to talk quite a bit in this preseason. I think the one thing he knows that they're going to do is, I think he knows they're going to give up some goals, but they're hoping that they can just kind of hang around enough, take more chances, then they will be willing to do that. Take chances, over pursue with the hope of maybe getting a rebound look, getting a chance in front of the net, knowing it could lead to an odd man rush on the other end, knowing there's going to be some moments where penalties are probably going to be taken and things of that nature. But one thing about Coach Machulis is that he doesn't concede anything. He's an old school hockey guy, and so It's about how do we find a strategy to win tonight and be competitive tonight in this season, and that's what he will do.
For sure. And this is where you kind of wish that you had that game on Tuesday where you could have worked out some of these kinks that you clearly see early on, the lack of clean passing, the lack of defensive discipline. Those are all things that you can work out between games, and you'd like that little bit of a tune-up before a game like this, but that's life in Minnesota, where you've got to deal with snow and ice and things getting canceled in the middle of winter, and
canceling because of snow in the winter. But yeah, and I think a lot of the kids, I talked to a few players on this Anoka team, they seemed bummed because they thought we could have played that game. The roads were cleared by 7 p.m. We could have played. But, once you make those calls as a district and as a school, you kind of got to live with that.
Absolutely. I mean, it's unfortunate for them, but no excuses. I know Coach Machulis isn't going to give them any excuses. It's a kind of a tough break for a team that could use a break right now.
Good chances they skate in. Looking, I think, for that, more or less, you think you lose the film time, right, though? That's the big thing. 2 games worth of film time versus no film time, really. So.
Well, we talk about sports in the context of games a lot, but you and I mention this a lot when we do these broadcasts, that all of this is an extension of education. And anytime that you get an opportunity to work with these kids and let them learn the sport, learn their craft, that's going to be so much more beneficial to them than any time that they could spend in a game. So yeah, the film time is absolutely a loss for them. We'd like to see them spend a little bit more time learning that, especially for a young team. Maple Grove doesn't need it nearly as badly as they do.
Big chance off the draw for Finn Brink that time. And thought that was a really clever shot. I thought he was going to actually get that, just deflected away. Brink runs into the official that time as he tries to skate it back, but sends it ahead. Kernan will try to ring it back around the net. Can't do it. Now Anoka's going to look to grab it and clear it. Looking for a centering pass, not able to get it. Now stuck at the blue line and dumped back in. Leafblad right in front of Rosenau. He's able to take it. Now Kernan trying to follow it up. Leaves it for Brink. Shot, score. Wow, that was so pretty from Jack Kernan as he fed a beautiful pass to Finn Brink. And that is Brink's second goal of the night. And that was, you don't rarely see that one come together. Usually guys hit that over the top of the net, Ryan, because they're so jazzed up about the look they got. Not this one. Look at this.
Yeah, we talk about how it's library quiet in here after every goal, and that's because you don't hear a whole lot of celebration out of Maple Grove. All of this, they never get too high, they never get too low here. I mean, you're up 7-0 in the second period here, and you're not, they haven't celebrated a single goal yet tonight. It's been, you put the puck on the back of the net, you get to center ice. That's been their whole game tonight.
Very cool to watch that goal, at least. That was certainly one of the more highlight reel type goals of the game. Because they've done Maple Grove, one thing I'll say is, it hasn't been a lot of those, high, those aesthetically pleasing goals. They've gotten some of the greasy deflection goals in front of the net tonight, really, too.
Well, and those deflection goals can be really pretty, too. I mean, this is absolutely just an art form, what they're doing to this game right now. And really, it looks like they're playing kind of a shoot-around style of hockey right now. They're passing the puck really well. They're taking shots where they get them. And that's how you get up 7-0 on a young team like Anoka, is you just keep playing your game. That they don't need to do anything flashy. They don't need to do anything crazy. Just play your game, and the score will take care of itself.
Another shot on goal that time, caught and deflected by Rosenau, and they will get another line change here with the Tornadoes.
And that's a lesson that I'm sure Coach Machulis would love to get to his Anoka squad here, that you don't get too high. A game like this, you don't get too low. You come back to work next week, tomorrow after school, and get your recovery time in, get your film time in, and just know, I mean, you're gonna have some tough games. You just got to do the best you can, learn from it. Don't make the same mistake twice. Go out there next time and win that game.
Coach Machulis is the epitome of a coaching lifer. He's been at it a long time. Football, hockey, track. He coaches from the beginning of the year on, and it's cool to see him taking another chance as the main boss. Coached at Champlain Park for a while as a head coach. Longtime football assistant. Good chance in front right there for the Tornadoes. Another look in front if they can center it up. Couldn't quite do it, but that time Provancha had a look from the blue line.
Best couple of looks there we've seen from Anoka all night tonight.
Trying to get another look in front if they can set it up. Looking for Caesar, but not able to get there, and quickly cleared back out. And Maple Grove moving with a head of steam again, and another goal. Shot, score.
Goodness gracious.
That time, number 21 sneaks that one through. Lucas Bush, the junior.
The snap on that shot was absolutely insane. That was a beauty goal.
Where you just felt like once he was able to get re-centered kind of in that open space, like it was like there was no chance right there.
I just don't, as a high school goaltender, there are some shots that are like that I just don't know how you defend. He just put it right exactly where it needed to be.
And one thing you'll see about finishing the thought on Coach Machulis is that he has been on the plus side and on the receiving side of games like this, and he will not panic. That's the one thing you will definitely take from him, is that he will be the same guy after this game as he would be after a win.
Yep. All of this is going to even out over the course of a season. You're going to have some really good moments. You're going to have moments like these that you just got to learn from and kind of put in the back pocket and move on.
Another chance in front and another one. Wow, that was off a deflection, and Joey Leafblad standing right on the doorstep had the look.
I think we're going to get a goaltender change here for Anoka.
Yeah, this was going to be Lauren Lafferty, who's another sophomore goalkeeper who's going to get a look here. And they're going to give Colin a break here tonight.
You know what, and that's okay. He did his time. He did the best he could do tonight. You're just playing a team that just knows how to put the puck in the back of the net. And sometimes, it's worth mentioning, too, that there are games where your opponents just don't miss. And right now,
that's true.
Right now, Maple Grove just isn't missing.
No, it's true. It's 9-0 in favor of the Crimson, and you're right. It seems like whenever they're on the doorstep, Ryan, they score.
That's so you're just going to have nights like that, and you put it behind you. You do the best you can, and don't let it shell your confidence. Just like I said, don't get too high, don't get too low. Go watch the film on Monday. We'll get back at it next week, right?
Only the second penalty of the game, as the Tornadoes will head to the box and back on the power play go the Crimson. Oh, goody, as this time it was a penalty assessed to Caden Suka.
Did we see what the penalty was?
I'm trying to see. I tried to catch the ref there. I didn't get a signal, so I'm going to wait for the overhead. So power play on. Brink up into the netting. So that one goes deflected off into the net. We'll get a face-off down in the Tornado zone, just outside of Lafferty's stick.
Couple of hockey dads up there, so their lives flash before their eyes for a second.
It's a cool spot to watch up there on that perch.
This is a great arena.
Yeah, it's really fun to come out here. I'll definitely have to come out here a little more often. I cannot believe I had not been here before. Trying to set something up, not quite able to do it. Now Brink feeds inside. It's going to be Steenerson, and there's the power play goal. Steenerson coming full head of steam at Lafferty and was able to sneak it past the young sophomore keeper.
Full head of steam there. He really, there's a rocket shot again.
Not sure I want him. I don't want to look at him face to face, as you can see right there.
Just ridiculous.
Quick little wrister.
This team is just so good at passing the puck and cycling that around. The fact that they're having success on the power play tonight should not be surprising to anybody. Power play goals are going to come for teams that can pass the puck well.
And that was the thing that was maybe a little surprising about the Turkey Trot when they got beat 5-1 to Wayzata, was just sort of the inability to get those things done.
Yeah,
good chance for Brink, looking for the hat trick, doesn't get it there.
And that's where you can talk about a get-right game. Every team is going to have a bad night, right? Maple Grove might be the best team in the state, and they lost 5-1 to Wayzata, who isn't a bad team. But you're going to have games like that. Even if you're a team that's playing for, hopefully for a state title this year, you're going to have games that just get away from you.
And they did have, they did, in fairness too, they beat Edina, I think the day before in that little Turkey Trot. So they had played, it's a tough little tournament to start with, to start the season.
And the really good teams find a way to do it. And even the really good teams are going to have bad nights like that.
Shot on goal saved by Lafferty.
If you're Coach Machulis looking at this game, you're down 10 rip. It's a tough night for your squad. A lot of parents here watching their team hopefully not get too dejected right now. You're going to have a bad night. Come back next week. Play a better game next time. Play a cleaner game. You'll be fine.
I don't think there's anything. This is the beauty of this hire, I think, for having Coach Machulis for Anoka, is I think him being longtime teacher in the building, longtime coach with the program at the lower levels with JV, and these parents know who he is, and he didn't have to reintroduce himself to a group of players or parents. And so I think the vibe is already there. Relationships are already built, and that's such a part of this process. The players know him and like him. I think everybody in the building, he might be one of the most liked guys in the building. If you go walk around Anoka High School, I think not not a lot of bad things to say about Mr. Machulis.
And you know, the other thing too is he understands the culture of this building and the culture of this area. You know, you and I have been around this area for a long, long time now, close to a decade for both of us. You know, this is tough guy town around here. There's a lot of blue collar workers around here. It's the culture up here is you work hard, you do your job, and you know, Coach Machulis fits that, and these kids fit that. It's just going to take some time for them to learn what exactly to do on the ice, but they're going to do their job.
Part of it is just, I think, engaging in these battles, which I think is what I'm sure Coach Machulis will stay on him with towards the end of this game, is continuing to engage your opponent, check, skate, keep skating.
Just stay with it. Don't get too down on yourself because of a bad game.
Yeah, keep skating. You know, keep moving.
And we've seen some good things from Anoka here tonight against a really talented team. They've had some moments where they've been able to pressure. They've taken some good shots. There's a couple of shots we could argue that probably should have been goals, though. We saw it in the first period there where...
Well, another look in front and another one through. It's hard to know sometimes when the goals get through because there's no reaction. Oh, no, that one might have been saved. That one was saved. I thought I saw the goalie, the ref make the move with the hand, but I did not. Let's look at Lauren Lafferty.
Tough to tell from this angle here a little bit, but I see what you were saying.
So we'll get a face-off instead as it was stopped by Lafferty, the young goalie. They have 2 sophomore goalkeepers playing at the varsity level. And that's going to be part of this process, too, is growing up a couple of keepers here during this process. You have Lafferty and you have Rosenau. Big physical hit in here at the front boards as now it gets sent back the other direction.
Yeah, and you're not really playing for this year with a young team.
Well,
in Minnesota hockey, you'd like to challenge every year.
They've got some veteran guys, though, in these first couple of lines, but it is a really new group. Big chance again in front, and their centering passes are about as crisp as you're going to see for early in the season, as that was set up perfectly for Joey Imgren, and it is now 11-0.
Yeah, I'm running out of things to say about these goals here, Tim.
Well, we don't have to say anything about them at this point. We can just sit over here and just continue to watch. As you notice the lovely graphics in the truck, I'm going to take a minute and just say, look at that elf sitting right there on the graphic below us. Look at Taylor working on that.
Working hard all there, down there, as always.
You got elf on the shelf. That is Tay on the sleigh right there as he sets that up.
The old QCTV sleigh down there.
Kind of looks like Taylor, actually, to be honest with you. Anyway.
Okay, now.
Now what? I was just saying. It's not a bad thing. Just making a point. And that will be cleared out and sent all the way down and get an icing call on the Tornadoes.
Starting to see a little bit of frustration on some of these kids from Anoka. Hopefully we can stay out of the box and keep this clean.
Well, it gets, might get your dander up a little bit down 11-0. That happens sometimes, right?
I am not
How many times have you shut the PlayStation off when you're getting beat by the computer 11-0?
Well,
I mean,
Tim,
come on, that happens a lot to you. Because I know when you play NHL, this happens all the time.
You know, Tim, I play an Xbox, and I would expect you to know that.
No free ads. Anyway, send that back down, another icing. I'm just saying, when you're getting beat online playing NHL down 11-0 to some 8-year-old in Columbus, Ohio,
it just doesn't happen much.
I'm sure that you're very quick to shut off the game. When
here's what I'll say, Tim. It's just on to the next one. You never get too high or too low.
Bill Belichick just walked in here. How great is that? Face off once again. Just living down in this tornado zone right now. 4.5 to play in the second period. Looking towards running time in the third period. As Kernan, who's I've been really impressed with him. I mean, I read all about Finn Brink, but oh man, another chance deflected. But Kernan's speed is really impressive as that center.
This whole team is just fast. They just feel like they're playing at another gear in this game. They don't really feel like they're missing a whole lot of chances.
Oh man, Brink engaged right there. Big collision as trying to slow him down was Cullen Land.
First time we've really seen him lose his skates tonight.
Yeah, Cullen Land, he came up and pursued and did a nice job with that.
Here it comes
but
again.
Brink will come through again on the defense. This time sets Kernan with a chance and a score. That one I think was off the deflection of Lafferty, but Kernan was there to clean it up.
We even got Coach Machulis shaking his head and gesturing a bit over there.
Yeah, that little notepad's going to run out of space, and he's going to run out of ink in the pen.
Worth noting, we have another period to play here.
3:53 left to go. 12-0 is the score. Maple Grove missed the 2-point conversion, and that's why we're at where we're at.
It's tomorrow night.
Oh, that's right. That one's deflected. Look out, Coach Machulis. My goodness.
Almost didn't have to worry about the pen there for a minute.
I don't even think he ducked. I was worried about his safety, but he was just like, nah, I'm good.
He's locked in right now.
Yeah,
He's
still teaching, still, as you can see. And again, his expression really hasn't changed, which is what's great about him. And I'll tell you this. There is probably no better time if you can get 15 minutes to sit down and hang out with Coach Machulis. It's about as good a time as you're going to get. I look forward to it when I get the opportunities to just sit, have a little coffee, and listen to him tell me about the 90s or whatever riff he wants to go on. I usually just let him go. That's always kind of my philosophy is like, Coach, the floor is yours. 10 minutes. Go take it wherever you'd like.
I'd give him about 15 after this one.
Yeah, give him a little time?
I'd give him about 15 after this one.
Maybe
Just let him collect his thoughts a little bit.
Good chance again in front, and another one. That one looked like it was off somebody's stick or skate maybe there. But it was put away that time by, it looks like Karkos again.
Have they had a goal on every shot for the last 3 minutes?
Well, the tough part is like, I'm used to some reaction.
Yeah.
Like, some reaction, anything. I'm just not getting anything. So sometimes it's just hard to see.
You don't even get anything out of Maple Grove here.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Nobody's reacting anywhere. I've never seen an environment like this. It's like, it's kind of like a haunted house.
It's a night that you send the tape to the college recruiters tonight if you're one of these young Maple Grove players.
Well, there's some talented players, some junior players on this team for Maple Grove. You got Brink, who's a Wisconsin commit. There's plenty of talent.
Steenerson, we already mentioned, playing junior hockey at Minot. It's Connor Stellis playing junior hockey as well. Some talent here. Good talented program.
So you'll be seeing a lot of Maple Grove if you're, certainly, I'm sure Andover has got the date on the calendar with these guys already. I'm sure some of the other teams in the area do as well.
I would imagine a few of them are probably watching on QCTV.org/live right now, checking out the feed.
Could very well be. Which means that they're listening to your pleasing baritone, listening to my nasally drone.
Be nice to yourself.
Well, I mean, it's a little nasally. It's cold season.
Back around in the Maple Grove zone there, but not going to stay there very long.
Not going to go as they clear it back out. It's Patefield. Patefield sends it ahead for the Crimson.
It just feels like they don't get knocked off the puck very much at all.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was going to say that I feel like the pursuit's there, but it's just not able to out-physical this Crimson team when they get around the net.
It just feels like they're trying stuff now. It feels like everything's working. They're just going to keep shooting.
Up into the net. We'll get a stop there with 2 minutes and 3 seconds to go, second period. And they're going to run out of tracks here with all the stoppages, all the music that they play in between songs. One thing I like about this coaching staff this year for Anoka, Coach Machulis made it a point to embrace like tradition. That's one thing I think he talks about. He's a big tradition guy and likes to brought back coaches that are all Anoka grads from different eras. So there's folks from the 2003 state title team. There's teams that, guys who have been were on that team when they made a state run a few years back. I mean, he really wanted to keep the program kind of in the family a little bit. So all the assistants are just former hockey players from different generations, from different times, from 15 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, which I think is really cool. And I think it's an on-purpose, intentional move from Coach Machulis.
Well, if there's one thing you can say about Anoka, tradition is absolutely a huge and important part of the culture of the building. We've seen that a lot with the wrestling program, with the football program over at Goodrich Field. Like, tradition's important around here, and if you can continue to build a hockey program that embraces that tradition here, even if you don't have the early success you're hoping for tonight, there's a lot of good things that can come from maintaining and embracing that tradition here at Anoka.
Part of that is the uniform too. So like they go to this the new look, which I really like, by the way. I really do love that.
Really, you haven't mentioned that.
Love that jersey. Gosh, that's awesome. But they wanted to keep that flaming A, which has been the classic logo for a long time, and he'll have that on other days, and it'll be on a shoulder patch and things like that because he believes it's important to keep those things.
I think that's a great thing. That's how you keep people engaged in the program and keep people engaged in building a tradition of their own too.
Yeah, you hear that, Minnesota Twins? Why'd you have to change the M? I just wanted the M.
No free ads, Tim.
They're not ads. I'm mad. I'm mad. I don't like the new M. I wanted the old M. Why mess around? Chance to get in there. Lafferty again, glove save.
Folks, I just want you to know that it's not just on the air here that he's talking about this. He was standing in my entryway yelling about this not 2 weeks ago.
I needed somebody. I couldn't yell outside. It was cold. So I had to go in somewhere to yell.
That's fair. The new Christmas hat looks beautiful on the kid, by the way. He appreciates it.
I'm really glad he enjoyed it. Face-off one, nothing there. Good chance again for the Crimson in front. This time the Tornadoes kind of block everything in front of Lafferty. Not allow a lot of room in front. No free space, but Brink able to take it right back. And now Brink full head of steam the other way. Shot wide. Going to be kept alive by the Crimson. Cleared and stayed in. Brink looking for another chance. Trying to skate around Landy. Brink again behind the net.
Brink just does a great job of just knowing where his teammates are at all times. Just he knew a teammate was behind him. Just dropped that right back to
oh, what a great pass!
To 13 marginal.
Oh my goodness! Kernan able to hit Brink for the hat trick, and that was like a kick save and then a little bunt forward, and just Brink was standing right there. Take a look at this. So there was the little kick pass, and then there's Brink right there in front skating across. And just nothing Lafferty can do right there. That is so tough.
Well, they found the other 2 points they were talking about there.
Yeah, 14-0 the score right now. This Crimson team pouring it on here in the final 4 seconds of period number 2.
You know, I was a little worried we'd miss the Thursday night football game tonight with your Patriots team, but I think we caught a football game here.
Well, there's the end of the second period right there, and what an explosive offensive period from. And we had an explosive offensive first period. This second period, it felt like they just opened all the floodgates here. This was an incredible period from this Maple Grove Crimson team, and we will have definitely running time in the third, and we'll talk more about that when we come back on QCTV.
I think it's just vapor with flavor.
It won't hurt my kid like cigarettes, right?
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
My kid?
My kid knows it's dangerous.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
Hey Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look,
We keep people and pets together. We're changing the world for animals and the people who love them. And we're doing it with people like you by our side. Learn more at animalhumanesociety.org.
Every day,
millions of people are connecting.
And even though we're overcoming obstacles,
watching each other's backs,
and banding together,
we should still make an effort.
We should still make an effort
to get to know each other
on a deeper level.
Father,
cosplayer,
mentor,
actor.
It's time we take a step forward.
It's time we take a step forward.
Come together
and discover
how accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made her college years happen. Opening that education savings account when she was little. Spearheading a campus tour. And another, and another, and another, and another. Bam! Deciphering financial aid. She was like, what? But now she's like, you aced planning for college. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
The thing that drives me every day as a dad is him. Every day he's hungry for something. And there's this huge responsibility in making sure that he's a good person. I think the advice I would give is you don't need to know all the answers. It's okay to make mistakes. As long as it's coming from love, then it kind of starts to work itself out.
Do you remember your first bike? Do you remember the excitement and freedom it gave you? Witnessing that joy or getting a from the heart thank you note from a recipient of one of our bikes is our reward. Bikes for Kids collects bikes donated to us from local bike shops, recycling centers, law enforcement, and individuals. We refurbish these bikes and give them away to kids and others in need who may not be able to afford one, along with a helmet and a bike lock. We do this through churches and other charitable organizations, and the recipients of our bikes also include homeless people and even refugees from the war in Ukraine and also Africa, where we ship them over once, sometimes even twice a year. In continuing our mission, not only do we need bikes to refurbish, but we also need volunteers. Along with your monetary donations to help with buying parts and other expenses. If you don't know how to fix a bike, that is no problem. We can train you. But you can also help out cleaning the bikes, pumping up tires, setting up orders, moving bikes, parting out unrepairable bikes, pickup and delivery. Bikes for Kids has been around for 10 years, and last year we gave away 3,600 bikes to kids who really appreciated it. Let's keep it going.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
What are we dealing with?
I think the most important thing to know is that a police officer's job is unlike any other job. We are getting tasked with going into situations that no other profession or no other person signed up to do. They're emotionally charged, emotionally driven, and unpredictable. So asking a person, a police officer, to do that is pretty incredible. So I think our officers out there in this city and beyond are doing a calling unlike any other. As a patrol captain, unfortunately, I don't get to do the fun job of being on the street and responding to calls. I miss those days, I really do. On a daily routine, I'm addressing daily problems that we might be having within the department or within the city. It's not a glamorous job. I show up to work, I sit at a desk, and just like anybody, I start reviewing emails. And within those emails, I'm looking at daily logs in regards to calls for service that we had the day prior. So I stay ahead of what's going on in our community. So I do need to keep my thumb on the heartbeat of the city of Anoka to know what's going on. And then at the same time, what our officers are doing.
It was just a day after graduating high school when Andy Youngquist started a non-sworn position for the Anoka Police Department, providing police services to the Anoka Metro Regional Treatment Center, eventually being sworn in as a patrol officer while also working as a school liaison officer. And then after 3 years of working in investigations, Andy was promoted to patrol sergeant, where he oversaw a team of patrol officers responding to calls for service. It was from that position in 2017 where Andy obtained his current position as a patrol captain for the city of Anoka.
I've been employed by the city of Anoka all my life, actually. I started when I was 15, working for the Parks Department, and gradually got into the police department. When I started this career in 1996 in a squad car, computers in our squad cars were just being introduced. So that was a whole new concept, and it has just grown since then. When I got promoted to captain, I really went to the chief and asked for and promoted the idea of wearing body-worn cameras. Just for that transparency. I knew it was needed, and I knew our officers would embrace it, and they did. They were totally fine with having that camera on them. They knew it was there to protect them, and also document the interaction and potential evidence and things of that nature.
Just as the technology has changed during Captain Youngquist's time on the police force, so has the public perception about law enforcement as a whole.
Ultimately, what has changed the most, I think, just the items in society. Not so much in our area, which I'm really proud of our citizens, and we are supported here at Anoka Police Department, but there has been a general lack of respect for authority. Right now, mental health is a big concern. We're seeing a definite increase in mental health cases. One of the coin phrases out there is de-escalation. And I've been de-escalating situations ever since 1996. So our verbal skills are very important, and that's what our officers are doing when they go into any kind of emotionally charged situation. So a domestic or a mental health crisis situation. And I still remember this profession when I was a day out of high school being tasked with dealing with somebody in a mental health crisis. And I remember that learning curve I had from my voice shaking in a very stressful situation to, several months into that job, being able to start controlling that.
Beyond the badge on his uniform, Andy Youngquist is a father, a husband, and a descendant from a long line of Youngquists who have been a part of the city of Anoka for generations.
We're human. It's funny. I've done many different positions in this career, and this uniform can act as a barrier, and it's more of a representation of the profession. It really is. I taught DARE for many years, and for me to be in plain clothes in front of my students, they just thought they weren't able to associate the two, which was odd to see. It is, and I really want the public and our viewing public, and that's why I'm doing this interview, to understand that's the challenge that's in front of us.
Anoka County Brotherhood Council, also known as ACBC Food Shelf, is a community-based organization located in Anoka County, serving over 10,000 families per year. We have been providing our neighbors with food, clothing, and resources for over 50 years. Providing food to the community is our largest program, and we do this through a food shelf, a grocery delivery program for those who are homebound, and special food distributions available throughout the year. We value our participants' time and have appointments available online and by phone to ensure quick services, making it easier for those with tight schedules and transportation difficulties. The experience of the shopper is important to us, and we take great care in making sure our food shelf market is well stocked, especially with fresh and healthy food items, which can be more expensive for those on tight budgets. We want our space to feel like a grocery store, and we want our shoppers to feel they are cared for. When someone visits us, they will also have access to our family advocate who can provide assistance in navigation with other resources and partnerships. We also have a clothing closet which has clothing and household items for the entire family, a birthday bag program where parents can select age-appropriate theme bags for children up to age 18, and for low-income adults ages 60 plus, we are the only food shelf in Minnesota selected as a CSFP food provider, providing the opportunity for extra food items and nutrition education. We are blessed to be in such a great community that supports our work with volunteers, food donations, cash donations, and just sharing our message. We thank you for your support.
All right, welcome back, everybody. QCTV, QCTV.org. Tim Anderson, Ryan Nelson-Kane here with you from the Anoka Ice Arena. And you're seeing that right on the screen. 14-0 Maple Grove leads as we head to the third period. We'll have running time here in the third. This Tornadoes team has run into a buzzsaw here with one of the better teams in the state of Minnesota, the Maple Grove Crimson. This Maple Grove team, once again, Ryan, went to overtime with Andover in the state championship game last year. Lost on a overtime goal 6-5 in what was one of the great high school championship games you're going to watch. And they are definitely looking like a team that wants to stake their claim to that once again.
Yeah, I think that we've seen here tonight a team that is a contender and a team that's an up-and-coming program that just is kind of hoping that their guys can grow into this a little bit. You know, we kind of knew coming in that this one could be a little rough for Anoka, where we were hoping that they'd make it a bit of a game. But, you know, from the middle of that first period on, it's been the Maple Grove show. We've spent all of our time in the Anoka defensive zone. Maple Grove has applied pressure constantly. They've been able to intercept nearly every pass that's come through the neutral zone. It really just has not been the score indicates, I don't have to say it, it's not a close game.
So we'll see what we can do here in this third period as we get all set to go. Here's a second period summary coming up, and it's a lot of scoring. 9 goals scored in the second period. We'll take a look at one right there. That was Jack Kernan, who really had a great period, as did Finn Brink. Both guys able to get in the scoring act a couple times. There's Brink right there with a good shot. And you see a lot of these shots, Ryan, a lot of these centering passes that were open in front of the net.
Yeah, you remember I said it in the first period for those who are still watching. I mean, the one place you can't let Maple Grove go is right in front of the goalie, where they can take that shot from the slot and just put the puck in the net. It can't be coming across the face of your goaltender. And that's exactly what's happened time after time after time tonight. Is every goal that they've had has come from in front of the net, coming across the goaltender, a quick pass, a quick shot, a quick goal. And you just can't let that happen with a team as talented as Maple Grove.
Alan Vokety off the draw that time for Anoka as we get set for the third period, and we are rolling down into the Maple Grove zone. Change and ends this time. Can we get a little momentum for the Tornadoes here as they try to get into the scoring column? And that would be a really successful period, I think, if they could stop the goal scoring from happening, but also give themselves a chance to maybe get on the board here tonight. It'd be a really nice way to go as the clock will run here. Running time in this third period. And we are a long way from that being stopped. So we'll probably, no doubt, just play 17 minutes of hockey here in this third period.
Yeah, I would say mercifully so. I mean, this one has just been a
chance
really
on goal.
hard
Good
game.
Save right there off the draw. Good look that time for the Tornadoes. Probably only their second or third real shot tonight on goal.
Yeah, they've had a couple that'll get counted as shots, but nothing that was really a challenge for goaltender Jack Roach over there in the Crimson net.
Chance in front that time once again. This time bounced off, and again you're looking for that Tornado squad to keep skating, keep being physical in front of the net. That one is deflected and sent back. Can the Tornadoes stay with a big collision right there? It's been an overall pretty clean game, though. Just 2 penalties, both committed by the Tornadoes. It's been a fast-moving game as far as that goes, but a pretty clean one.
Yeah, and a rare miss on the pass there for Maple Grove. Kind of a long stretch pass as they're just trying to find some ways to try new things here in this game. I mean, what's worked for them has worked to the tune of 14 goals, so why stop? You know, we talked at the beginning of that second period about that being kind of a kitchen sink period for Anoka, just able to try really whatever they wanted there. It's the same thing when you're up 14-0. You can just kind of try some things and throw some things out there and say, hey, this might work in the future. Let's see if we can workshop it now.
Finn Brink, who already has the hat trick, tried to centering pass that time. Nothing there. The Tornadoes are going to try to send it back the other direction. They do dump it back into the Crimson zone. Crimson quickly turn it back around the other way. Here's Kernan. Kernan leaving it Chance in front of the net that time. Lafferty able to poke it away as Brink tried to come in with a shot. Also was Luke Giuliani right there. Skating for the Tornadoes is Trevor Lang, and Lang will send it hard into the boards that time. Tornadoes trying to keep it alive inside the Maple Grove zone. 3 minutes or so gone by in this third and final period. 14-0 Crimson lead. Tornadoes getting their first game of the year right now. Shot in front deflected there by Roach. After we mentioned it earlier, but this game against Southwest postponed with the snow the other night. So this is the first game of the season for this Anoka Tornadoes team. Just the third game for Maple Grove. Maple Grove does have some interesting ones coming up as well. They're going to take on Stillwater on Saturday. And then Spring Lake Park next week. Away for both of those. There's a look at that Maple Grove schedule. Stillwater, Spring Lake Park, at Blaine. 3 road games. 4 out of their next 5. Again, Coon Rapids looks to be much improved as well this year, so that'll be an interesting game at home for Coon Rapids. And then, of course, that Centennial match there as well.
Yeah, it was Blaine and Centennial, 2 kind of blue blood programs around the North Metro here. Some tough games there to be playing on the road. Obviously, Coon Rapids has, like you said, been improved this year, so going to be a tough couple of tests here for Maple Grove going forward outside of this one.
A lot of road games early. They played the 2 neutral games at Maple Grove. You take a look at what Anoka's got coming up. Irondale at Osseo, and then home to Hastings. So they're going to jump out on the road here early on as well, as they'll go to Coon Rapids on the 17th and Cambridge Isanti.
A couple of good tests in there for Anoka too, and we'll see how they can hang with a team like Osseo and a team like Coon Rapids. A couple of varied tests there. Certainly nothing quite as difficult as this one on that schedule so far.
Lafferty will cover up in front. And of course, usually most teams will play some sort of holiday tournament as well. So we'd have to assume that that's also going to be part of the equation once we get into the break.
Starting to think about that holiday break. That's when the hockey season really starts to gear up for a lot of these schools.
Yeah, you always feel like, yes, these seasons do start November, December, but you really feel like it gets moving in earnest in January, don't you think? Like it really starts to get the motor going a bit.
Well, and especially in Minnesota high school hockey and Minnesota, wrestling around here too is kind of the same thing where, that the holiday season, when you, outside of what you spend with your family, you're going to be spending a lot of time with your team as well. On kind of the road trips, the tournaments that you're going to play in. You're going to have a lot of opportunities to grow as a squad. So, how you handle the holiday season as a hockey team is going to be a huge signal to where you're going to be at the end of December going into January, like you said.
These breaks do tend to lead to a long bus ride somewhere usually. Sometimes not. Sometimes you hang around, but usually you like to get out and maybe take a bus ride up somewhere.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, personally, I come from a
good chance on a takeaway shot that time. That one's deflected away. Best look of the night right there on the breakaway where the Tornadoes, as Trevor Lang had the look.
I come from a wrestling family, so I'm used to the long bus rides. We used to go out to Rochester for every Christmas tournament. Certainly familiar with that sort of schedule. Hockey teams all do it too.
$11 minutes to play in this game. 14-0. No scores yet in this period. 5 in the first, 9 in the second. Maple Grove just going to try to skate around here a little bit in the third. And they've had some injuries, so no doubt Coach Berglund will always be a little bit nervous, just trying to make sure everybody gets in tonight and gets done healthy.
I've seen everybody on that Maple Grove bench standing right now, wondering if some of those guys might not see the ice the rest of the night. Guys like Brink and Kernan might have the rest of the night off.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll definitely see when they start making those next shift changes.
They've certainly earned it.
They played well tonight, no question. That one's deflected nicely. Chance on a breakaway look for Danny Ness, but Ness not able to get to it. Picked up by Barthel. Now rung around to the other side and kept alive for Maple Grove as they'll look to reset. Send it in. This is Joey Imgren.
Here comes that top line again.
Yep, they're back out. There may not be a lot of depth there with some of the injuries and JV playing earlier tonight. So you have your 4 lines and you let them go. 9:40 to go as we get another icing call.
I'll go right back into the old Anoka zone there.
Yep, we will go down there and go with 9.5 to go. Basketball gets underway for a lot of teams as well this weekend. I know Anoka plays their first game tomorrow night for Coach Jesse Jefferson, and they'll take on Roseville at home. Girls basketball has played a couple games already. So now everybody's starting to get out in full swing. Good chance there.
Well, and like we said, it's nice to be back after a couple of years of really light in-person stuff for a lot of these schools, and it really feels like this is the first year with everything in the swing of things as we see the replay here. Decent shot from the point there from number 24 Andrew Leafblad.
I know even everybody who's really excited for that speech schedule, knowing that that's starting soon too as well. I mean, everybody's.
I know I am.
I am too. I'm very excited for it.
We around here we eat, sleep, and drink speech.
Yes.
Pretty much 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Well, 100%. I mean, why wouldn't you?
Well, my wife can think of a few reasons why not to.
Face off that time. Can Anoka get some control here and get it out into the Maple Grove zone? Put a little extended pressure on late. Not yet. Gavin Anderson, very quick from that defensive position. Able to hustle back, get to it, and reset. Beautiful cross-ice pass that time. As Giuliani tried to skate through. Kernan sets up Brink in front, and Lafferty able to make... Nope, not able to. They get the goal. I thought Lafferty was able to make the save that time, but it did sneak through. Let's take another look. I should have known because there was silence. And there it was, snuck right past Lafferty. And hello, darkness, my old friend. There's the sound of silence again coming through. And now it's 15-0.
I mean, at this point, there's just nothing left to say at this point.
Well, you're as quiet as the Maple Grove bench at this point.
23 there. Caden Sukup just
took a spill there. His stick's down, and he's hurting. He's going to try to skate off, and that
he got hit pretty hard.
Yeah, and that stinks, and that'll get a whistle stoppage there. And Caden's going to go try to find a seat, and hopefully he's okay as he goes to the bench and sits down. Coach Machulis going to check on him.
Tough stuff just to get up and get off the ice there.
Yeah, boy, that was some gutsy stuff there from Caden Sukup as he was able to hustle and get up off the ice, but you could tell he was hurting on his way out, and hopefully he's all right.
Looking like a bit of pain there on that left leg. Yeah, just kind of came down a little hard.
Like maybe did they hit knees or something like that? Maybe I don't know.
It was right in front of us down here, but it just under the lip of this little awning here. I couldn't quite see.
Yeah, hopefully he's all right. Tornado's trying to control it here, and again trying to space out a little bit.
Just looking for some positivity here.
Nice attempt at the cross ice pass that time as Huebner tried to get to it, not able to control it. And instead, it's going to be taken away by the Crimson as we go back the other way. 6 minutes, 20 seconds to go.
Of course, we talk about the speech schedule. The debate schedule is still going on, Tim. We've got state competition.
I feel like the debate schedule never stops. I feel like that is just a year-round thing now.
You know, I will again say my wife would agree with you on that. Yeah. There are days that I would agree with you on that.
Let's take a look and see if we got a shot of this shot on Caden Sukup. So let's take a look here and see what kind of happened there. Right there,
oh.
Yeah. And if we take another, maybe it was knee to knee. Yeah, what happened there exactly?
Looked like that.
Oh yeah,
just kind of ran into the back end of him.
Yeah.
Doesn't look malicious, just kind of one of those unusual sort of.
A tough spill right there, but it looked like he hit the back of his knee though, like front of the knee, back of the knee right there, and there was no give.
Again, you're running into a bit of a brick house of a young man there.
Well, I tell you, those hurt a little bit. I mean, as you can see, one thing that's nice is you're watching him stand on the bench trying to walk it off a little bit, and maybe I think those injuries are kind of that. They're more like shocking than anything. You got to almost walk them off like Charlie horses.
Well, and it's, easy for us to sit up here and talk about it, but it's hard to remember sometimes just how hard that surface is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically concrete.
That one's off the post.
There is absolutely no give as soon as you hit the ground here. You're landing on a solid surface, and there are some parts of your body that just aren't well padded enough to absorb a blow like that. As we get a good look at the fans here.
See how happy they are. Well, the first one looked really excited to be here. Like maybe waiting for a doctor's appointment. But anyway.
I know I get excited for that.
I sometimes do. If there's a good magazine in the waiting room, I get very excited, but usually not.
What's yours of choice? I'm a Sports Illustrated
If
guy.
they have a Sports Illustrated, I'd like to read it. Obviously, a little Golf Digest would be fine.
No, we'll take the Golf Digest from time to time.
Problem is they never have. It's always like it's Runner's World. Like, who runs? I'm not running.
You gotta get down to the.
It's like Taylor put the magazines out at the doctors. That's all his stuff. He's a runner. It's a cooking magazine.
I don't know if you've ever seen me, Tim. I'm not much of a runner.
No.
Unless, of course, it's, to the Andy's mints in the cupboard.
Oh, that sounds lovely right now. Anyway, under 4 minutes to go. Skating hard in was Margino.
Another good shot there from Maple Grove.
Joey Leafblad back up top. Nice shot that time. As they tried to deflect in front, Sinclair had the look. Another chance, Lafferty. And again, these young goalies, one thing you can say, have not been bored tonight. They have not been. They've been very busy.
Yeah, they've definitely had their opportunity.
No kidding.
I'd say that they're caught in a bad romance with the puck. Is this?
I was gonna say we've definitely worked out. We've lost. We're in the bottom of the Spotify list here. We're moving into the Lady Gaga stuff. But
you know what?
Go. Good chance in front again. Lafferty trying to cover it, can't quite do it, but finally Anoka will clear.
Good job to recover that by number 4 there, Trevor Lang.
Lang sends it in. Lang going to keep pursuing.
Just a good cleanup. You wish you could have seen that a little bit more on some of these, some of those rebounds a little earlier in the game. At 15-0, it really doesn't matter that much. But let's see what the penalty's for here.
Oh, they're going to throw. It looks like.
Jacob Sinclair, number 10.
Yep, Sinclair's going to go in.
See what for.
Was that a cross check? I'm not sure. Or a slash, perhaps maybe a slash.
I haven't seen the call yet.
It was a very physical, little physicality down there behind the net of Roach, and a power play opportunity, it looks like, for the Tornadoes, as they will finish the game for all intents and purposes on the power play with 2 minutes to go. Running time.
Well, if you're going to come back, it starts now.
So it was a slash on Sinclair. I'm going to try to wave off the icing, but it's a race down on the penalty kill.
That was a big old hit.
That was a huge hit.
There's another penalty coming.
Yep, and big hitting is Lucas Bush.
You could feel
and now we're going to have
here.
some back and forth here, and there's no need. As Lucas Bush not thrilled, and obviously having some words now with some of the Anoka players. And again, you just don't need to at this stage of the game do any of that.
Yeah, that's just frankly unnecessary in a game where you're up 15-0. You don't need to put a guy in the boards there on a kind of a marginal play. It's things like that if it were a closer game, I'd say it develops a rivalry. But right now it's just going to develop some bad blood. And
well, I'll tell you, one thing you're not going to, there's some prideful kids across the board. You're just not going to. Nobody's going to be thrilled about that when that happens.
No,
so,
sure.
you got to understand you're going to raise the ire of somebody. It doesn't matter.
And it's good to see his teammates sticking up for him too. It's it's never fun to get hit like that behind the play anyway. But know that your teammates have got your back there. That can be a positive moving out of that. But
5-on-3 for the Tornadoes to close here. 30 seconds to play. 19 seconds left on that. They're going to get a shot. Roach makes the save. Another chance in front here as Maple Grove going to try to kill off this 5-on-3 to end the game. They don't want to give up a goal. Like to preserve this if they can. Tornadoes looking for a chance. They will fire on net. That one is saved again by Roach. Now 5-on-3 is done. We're at 5-on-4 for the final 10 seconds, and a big collision right there is coming in off the ice was Sinclair, and he's going to get another penalty as soon as they get a chance, but that's the end of the game. So we'll stop playing right there. Sinclair comes off the ice just to come in and start hitting. I'm not quite sure I understand that, but 15-0, the Crimson win, as they were very impressive tonight. Very impressive indeed. And they are able to close out the Tornadoes. Ryan, final thoughts?
I mean, what else is there to say? I mean, we've said it all. In the first 7 goals of the night, there were, they passed the puck well. They put the puck in the net well, and everything gets played clean here, except for the last couple of minutes of the game there, where guys are taking unnecessary penalties and taking unnecessary shots. But growth opportunity for Anoka here. How do you respond from this is going to be the big thing. It's not a huge issue for them.
Let's take a look at the broadcast schedule coming up. That boys hockey game is on QCTV between Moorhead and Andover. Girls hockey will be back next week, as it'll be Anoka and new coach Logan Sivak for Anoka against Centennial Spring Lake Park, and then Rogers versus Anoka later on in girls hockey. And then we'll finally get some girls basketball action as well, as Osseo versus Anoka. I'll be there for that one. I think with Coach Pete Hayes that night, as we'll get our first look at that squad this year. So lots of good stuff coming up on QCTV. We hope you continue to stick around and support all the good stuff that we do here at QCTV. So want to thank you for tuning in here tonight. We will say goodnight here from the Anoka Ice Arena. Thanks to Taylor and all the guys doing all the hard work in the truck and around the arena. For Ryan Nelson Kane, this is Tim Anderson saying keep your head up. We will see you next time.